It is the year 2485 in the Imperial calendar, and the island nation of Ulthuan, home of the High Elves, is under threat by a host of Chaos Undivided. Under the command of a mighty demon prince, they have landed on the northeastern coast, in the lands of Kothic, and immediately begun a warpath towards the Emerald Pass, a small passageway through the mountains into the lands of Safari. The mages of Hoth have, with their powerful magics, detected the oncoming force, and send warning and reinforcements to the defenders of Kothic. Together, they form a mighty host in the Emerald Pass to await the oncoming Chaos Horde. They know they must break the enemy here, lest the lands of Safari and Avalon beyond be tainted by their corruption. Today's game is a 4,995 point battle of Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition between High Elves and the Hordes of Chaos. This is a special scenario in which the Hordes of Chaos score victory points for every model they manage to get off the High Elf side of the table. If at least 2,000 points worth of models get off the table, they win the game. Furthermore, for each High Elf hero killed, they reduce this goal by 100 points, and another 100 points for killing the general. Normally, I would run you through the armies, but as this video is a short one, I will instead be putting up the army lists on the screen for you to inspect. The High Elves are bringing 8 characters, including 4 mages, while the Hordes of Chaos have 7 characters, being led by a demon prince who counts as 2. They also have 4 wizards, with 1 character bearing each mark of chaos, and 2 undivided lords alongside the demon prince. As the defenders, the High Elves deploy their forces first and take the second turn. They deploy the bulk of their forces on the east bank of the river, atop the hill, ready to fan out into a defensive formation. Opposite them, the Hordes of Chaos form a long line, ready to crush in and kill the High Elves. They have just 8 turns to get as much material off the board as they can. The first turn sees both forces advancing into position, and a mighty, but largely unimpactful magical duel unfolding between both sides. The High Elves have the superior firepower, and they leverage it to whittle down the flanks of the Chaos forces. On the first turn, the High Elves do successfully call down a comet in their magic phase, and it lands at the start of the Chaos turn, but does nothing but make a small crater. The second turn goes much the same for Chaos, with most of their forces advancing. The Marauder Horsemen try and charge the Shadow Warriors on the flank, who stand and shoot, and manage to panic the cavalry with their volley. The magic duel goes better for Chaos, as the champion of Tzeentch manages to kill one of the High Elf mages, and the Nurgle Sorcerer slows the Silver Helms on the flank, dampening their impact in coming turns. On their second turn, the High Elves continue to push forward to hold the base of the hill, though the Eagles charge into the Marauders, marking the beginning of the small skirmishes around the battlefield. While most of the High Elf magic is stopped, the Chosen Warriors are set alight with Flames of the Phoenix, which has little impact this turn, but in the next it burns almost half the Chosen to cinders. The third turn sees the Furies on the flank charge the Eagle in a bid to disrupt the High Elf position on the hill, while the Nurgle Warriors advance to offer a target to the Dragon Princes, and the Tzeentch champion makes his way towards the board edge, hoping to escape before he is shot down. The Furies are torn apart in the High Elf turn, as the Prince charges their flank and the Dragon Princes fall short, failing to do any damage to the warriors and fleeing from the fight. In the east, the Chosen flee after taking a devastating bombardment from the Bolt Throwers, while the Shadow Warriors charge the Marauders and win the fight, sending them fleeing off the field and pursuing them out of the battle. Not all goes well for the High Elves, however, as the magic duel continues and the Swordmasters are forced out of position by the Slaaneshi Sorcerer. On the positive side, the High Elves succeeded in casting Comet of Cassandora, placing it in the middle of the Chaos formation. On turn 4, the Chaos Assault begins in earnest. All across the field, they engage the High Elves while the magical onslaught continues, sending the spearmen in the center of the battlefield fleeing. The Chaos forces win on almost every front, the Demon Prince crushing the Dragon Princes and the Commander with them, while the Spearmen and Shadow Warriors are both sent fleeing. Things are looking bad for the High Elves, as they swing their aerial forces in on the west flank to try and slow down the advance. Their swordmasters continue to be pulled far out of position, their numbers dwindling under the magical assault, and the Silver Helms fail to charge the Bloodletters, stalling out the recovery of that flank. It's not all bad news, though, as the Archmage manages to devastate the Chosen with another Flames of the Phoenix from the last turn, and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is killed by her arcane might. In the center, the Demon Prince, who had previously been wounded by bolt throwers, is brought down as well, removing one of the major threats to the Prince and giving him far more freedom across the field. Turn 5 continues to be favorable for the Chaos Forces as they crush through the center of the battlefield, threatening to escape with most of their forces through a narrow pass, defended only by a single unit of fleeing spearmen. The Slaanesh warriors crush another unit, and the lone remaining Chosen strikes down an eagle. Disaster strikes for the Chaos Forces in the 5th High Elf turn. The comet finally lands, destroying half the Marauders and a portion of the Tzeentch warriors. The Marauders flee, and the warriors join them as the Prince charges, sending the entire formation into disarray. To make matters worse, the Marauders are run down by a charging eagle, and the Bloodletters fall as the Silverhelms finally execute their charge, and the Slaaneshi sorcerer is consumed by a frenzy spell she cast earlier in the battle. After such a devastating loss, Chaos has a little hope of coming back into this game. They make a valiant effort, the warriors of Nurgle breaking the spearmen and closing in on the table edge, and the Chaos Lord running amok on the eastern flank, single-handedly threatening to crush the entire wing of the High Elf army. The warriors of Tzeentch are crushed between the two princes and the swordmasters, but they manage to win the fight and chase down the fleeing prince. These victories aren't enough to turn the tides. The champion of Khorne and her knights are both charged as they separate to chase down threats, and both units fail to do any damage. They are both sent fleeing and caught as they try to escape. In the east, the Silver Helms have crushed every enemy, while the Eagles hold up the Plague Bearers and warriors of Tzeentch, stalling their escape and all but guaranteeing their demise. Though the warriors of Nurgle are about to escape, the game is called here as a resounding High Elf victory, with only a few scattered and demoralized Chaos warriors breaking through, making easy pickings for the Silver Helms to clean up in the coming days. If you enjoyed this little battle report, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I have a longer video of this battle in the works, which will dive deeper into the details that had to be skimmed over with the short time I had to present everything, as well as another Trench Crusade battle report brewing in my head.